In the last decade or so, our phones have become an extension of ourselves. We take them wherever we go, we contact all our friends with them, and we can't leave the house without it. This little glass slab almost controls us and has pushed us further and further away from each other, even though it's designed to do the opposite. We spend so much time in the online world, and it's only going to get worse as technology develops. So in today's video, I'm going to go over a couple of tactics to reduce your screen time on your phone and bring it back to reality to have more meaningful relationships with others. Most of our phones tell us what apps we go on and for how long we do so we can use this to our advantage. On iPhones, you even get a weekly average screen time, and let me tell you, mine was over 10 hours once. So take note of which apps you usually spend the most time on and set limits for these to have an idea of how long you've spent on. I personally have an hour-and-a-half limit on YouTube because this was one of the apps that I used a lot, bumping up my screen time significantly. Screen time also tells you what app you're most likely to use when you first pick up your phone and which app has the most pickups throughout the day. So this can really help you figure out, okay, I shouldn't go on this app when I first pick up my phone, and try to set a rule for yourself. Like I said earlier, social media and all these apps were initially made to make it easier to bring people together online. But at the same time, it has made our face-to-face interactions less special and has also heavily decreased our average attention to supposedly less than that of a goldfish's. So whenever we're out having a meal with a friend or a loved one, we always end up looking at our phones instead of actually interacting with that person. So for those few hours when you do something like this, try and make sure that your phone doesn't come out at all and just give that person your full attention. Let me ask you something. How many notifications do you get per day on your phone? And how many of these are unnecessary? I got an average of about 150 a day, and most of these were irrelevant and were just easy temptations to try and get into the app so you spend more hours on them. Instagram literally notified me when someone I didn't even know I followed posted something for the first time in a while. So I got rid of all these insignificant notifications by just disabling them through the apps themselves or through my phone settings. And there's nothing wrong with having no notifications and a dry phone. It actually means that you spend more time in the real world instead of the online world. And speaking of notifications, if you're enjoying this video, please hit the subscribe button so you know whenever I post. So a thing that I realized was that when I had a cleared, structured day and like a routine, I spent way less hours on my phone. And when I mean less, I mean like hours and hours less, from about 10 hours to about 2. So I realized that I mostly used my phone when I was clueless about what I should be doing, and I just used it as a kind of a time pass when I had other things that I should have been doing. And because I had no idea what I should be doing in that time, I ended up going down a 5-hour YouTube rabbit hole. So if I have my day planned out in my calendar, I only really use like 2 hours on my phone before I wind down for the night. So a clear and planned routine throughout a day can really shave down those screen time hours. Is it just me, or when we use our phones before we go to bed, we end up spending hours and hours more than we should and end up going to bed late? That happened with me all the time, and that happened with me all the time until I set a downtime on my phone, which meant I could only use certain apps that I set after my bedtime, and it literally locked me away from my phone until I woke up the next morning. Of course, you can override this downtime, but this friction is what makes you realize they should have been asleep instead of going on your phone for this extra 2 hours. And the final tactic is to have an accountability partner. Make sure you stick to all these barriers that you put up between yourself and your phone. You could have a friend or a family member help you out do this. You could even have a competition with them to see who has the least average screen time at the end of the week. And if you want to take it even further, you can even set money on it and bet who has the least amount of screen time by the end of the week. That person could also set your downtime password, screen time password, and the only way that you can access it and break your screen time limits is by paying them a fee. So I honestly believe that reducing my screen time has heavily impacted my life positively. And if you want to know what other habits I've been implementing to improve my life, click here to see a video on that.